Hello, Night Nation. I'm Trylko from the Sons of UCF, joined by Eric Lopez of the Black and Gold Banneret. Welcome back to Around the Kingdom. Elo, it's been a while.
It's been a few minutes, if you will. I hope everybody enjoyed their offseason, Trace, as you did. Coming up on the fastest UCF show around, who is the quarterback for UCF this season? We'll debate that as the possibilities. What is at stake for Scott Frost this year and his legacy? Plus, what other sports are we out looking for that could turn things around this fall? That and much more on the most tuned in UCF show around the Kingdom.
Before we get going with all of that, Elo, let us welcome in the third member of our team. He is Adam Eaton from the Sons of UCF. Keeps an eye on the clock, keeps us on our toes. Adam, hello.
Trace, Eric, so good to be back with you. I'm glad we can all be locked in tonight on this particular episode. Trace, by the way, I hope you enjoyed your summer. You look tanner. Did you spend some time in the tanning booth, did you?
No tanning booth, in the pool.
Something's different about you.
We'll talk to you in a few. Elo, single-digit days until the Knights open the 2025 season. And I ask you this, what is that one word you would use to describe how you're feeling about this upcoming season?
I would say the word to describe is unknown. I don't know. This is an unknown team. We don't know anything about this team really as far as how good they are, who's starting where in certain positions. Unknown is the word right now going. Maybe the most unknown season going in that I can recall in recent memory.
Despite the uncertainty, Elo, my word is hopeful. I am hopeful that it exceeds our expectations and that the return of Scott Frost 2.0 goes even better than that first version.
I mean, it may or may not, but we don't know how it's going to look. We don't know who's the top player on this team. There's a lot of questions. Would you not agree? There's just the most questions that a UCF team has had, I would argue, in over a decade, at minimum. I mean, do you remember
questions? But it doesn't mean that the answers won't be positive.
Doesn't mean they're going to end up being positive either. It could get negative. It could get ugly. Who knows? That's the beauty. We don't know. But hey, we're going to figure it out as time goes on. Now, the man that has to figure all this out is Scott Frost, who's back for the second run. Trace, what's at stake for Scott Frost in his second tenure here at UCF?
I think two things are narratives for me that Scott Frost can't escape. 2017 and that national championship for UCF, that is the benchmark, the standard by which a lot of Night Nation holds Scott Frost to. And also, things did not go well in Nebraska. He hasn't had a winning season since 2017. So what gives? I don't think anyone has expectations of running the table in terms of victories, but can he snap the consecutive losing seasons streak and return to UCF in a positive way? The Knights, of course, coming off that 4-8 season. Can he build upon that and break his losing streak?
I don't think the Nebraska run really impacts our thoughts from a UCF. Like, I could care less what somebody in Lincoln, Nebraska cares. They're a volleyball school anyway. Who cares what they think? But I do think his legacy at UCF is on the line here. I wrote over this offseason for blackandgoldbanneret.com my top 50 UCF head coaches of all time. I ranked Frost 7, which it was a polarizing number by a number of people. Some think he's too high because he was only here 2 years. Some, though, point to that national championship 2017 season. I think this run will clear up all of that. If he succeeds, again, close to what he did the first time around, then that legacy will grow, and I think he will go down as the greatest UCF football coach of all time. But if he struggles, like he did at the other place that he was at, that he does not like to talk about, his stock will drop in the rankings and in perception. And I think, Trace, I know people won't like this. If he struggles here, I think the perception and the thought of that UCF run in 17 and 18 will be looked at as an aberration or a fluke by the national media. Not maybe some in the UCF fan, but people would say that was a fluke.
Well, that is an interesting setup there, Elo. So what is considered a successful 2025 season for Scott Frost and the Knights?
So I think there's two parts to this. I know everybody's going to jump to, well, if they win X amount of games, this is a successful season. But I think in this age of college athletics, you've got to put more context into this. a bowl season would be a success, considering this is basically 70 new players or whatever the number of players is. It's a brand new team. You get to a bowl game in year one, which is what he did the first time around. I think that's considered a success. The other part of this, though, is do you identify a core of players on offense and defense that you're like, hey, we could build and win with these guys moving forward and keep them and retain them, Trace, and not lose them to another school. That to me. So there's two parts to this. Can Scott Frost get him to a bowl? And can he keep, like, let's say he nails a quarterback, whoever the quarterback is, and he blossoms. Can you keep him? Can you keep some of the skill position? I think those two things will determine how successful this year is.
For me, is culture more than just a word? Is it more than just a talking point in talking season for shows like ours and others? Will we really see what was said of 16 and 17, fighting for the guy on your left, fighting for the guy on your right? What happens? Scott Frost himself said it in a recent media availability. He's not sure what happens when they face adversity. What happens, Elo, when they get knocked in the mouth? How do they respond? And success also leads to dollars, right? And that leads to player retention. A lot of turnover in the roster. I think that's the norm now that we're going to see across college sports. Can they reduce that offseason turnover, retain the guys they want, and build on that success? But you got to have some success in 2025. So I do think 6 wins, a bowl season would be a jump up, certainly after the 4-8 record under Gus Malzahn. That would be a marked improvement. Again, he did it in 2016, but that core group of players may be better than what he's got right now.
But again, culture is only as good as how good your roster is. How many of these players they added from the portal, et cetera, did they hit on versus, whiffing on? That will determine a lot at what this season will look like. Well, of course, no position will be scrutinized and looked at more as an example as the quarterback position. As we record this, we still don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback for the opener against Jacksonville State. Trace, you're there all the time. You get exclusive video footage and talk to all the big time people there. Who's starting week 1?
And I like your text. What'd you learn today? You always put me on the spot. You saw it. Elo, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Here's why. No decision has been made by Scott Frost. No guy, what he wanted to see, take the job. No guy has taken the job. They all have some attributes. They all have some negatives. Who manages this game the best? Who makes the least amount of mistakes? I thought the over-under on quarterbacks we'd see this season start a game would be 2.5. I certainly don't think it will be 4. Could it be 3, Elo? I'm not sure that it's decided by the North Carolina game. We're going to see if actual games against Jacksonville State, North Carolina, A&T sort of, solidify things a little bit. But I don't think it matters. I don't think any of these guys has jumped up to take the position based on what we've seen, what we've heard from Scott Frost. So I'm not sure that it matters. They're going to have to prove it now during the regular season.
Do you believe that no one has taken the job because all 3 of them are really good and it's really close? Or as the old cliche goes, if you have 3 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. I mean, are you a half full guy or empty? Do you believe one of these quarterbacks? I personally think Ja'Cory Brown is going to have a role and might start the opener. I think he's got the best legs of the 3 quarterbacks as far as running ability. He's a playmaker. I tend to lean towards him starting over someone like Jackson overall. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I do wonder how good is really this quarterback group.
Question that I've asked of Scott Frost and offensive coordinator Steve Cooper of late was, when you look at all of the body of work Cam Fancher had at Marshall and FAU, the number of starts, the amount of reps, the amount of time he has played, does that give him, some distinct advantage? And I think that could help him, is that he just has more experience. Who makes the least amount of mistakes? And I think there's been inconsistency throughout this camp. That's why I don't think any one guy has seized the job, Elo.
We'll see if you're right or wrong there, Mr.
So, Elo, what's the biggest concern? Is it QB?
Yes, it is, because you're going nowhere if you don't have a quarterback. I mean, we saw that last year. So they have to hit on this quarterback. Now, I don't know, to your point, I don't think they necessarily have to hit it in week 1. It could be where the guy turns out to be the guy might start later in the year. That's okay. But you have to hit on a quarterback, whether it's Jackson, who probably has more upside, is probably the better passer, maybe is better for your future. But if you don't hit this quarterback, you're going to struggle. I don't care where you are. So that's the obvious answer. But I'll give you another one, so that way you don't say that that's a cheap. I'm kind of taking a shortcut there. I think wide receiver. We don't know if these guys can play receivers. I have that's a concern. Is there a guy that's a Traquan Smith level, Gabe Davis level, or is there a drop off? We don't know.
I think those two, right, are the easy spaces on the bingo board, right? The free space. But for me, it remains in season 3 now. Offensive line and depth. Big 12 quality depth. Are these guys going to be running for their lives, whoever is quarterback 1? I'm not sure about that, and I'm not sure how it plays out over the course of a grueling 9-game conference schedule, whether they have the depth to handle that along the offensive line, Elo.
Right, because we don't know of all these offensive linemen, how many are good enough to be quality power conference starters versus, hey, they're just backups who happen to have an opportunity to start. So 2 point, you're right. All right, well, that's a lot of negativity there, Trace. Jesus, we had an offseason.
It's 3 minutes, right?
I mean,
quarterback and the concern.
Let's get optimism here. What are you the most confident about this team?
Defensive line. I feel like there is Big 12 depth. The return of John Walker. Sincere Edwards returning after he was recruited by UCF, goes to Pittsburgh. Nigel Kelly. I think there are some names on the defense and the defensive line. And I'm not one of these naysayers about Alex Grinch. I think he, like the others, have a chip on their shoulder, something to prove. He's been maligned in the national media for things not going well, but he has had success along the line. I think he has a lot to prove this season, and I feel pretty good overall about the defense, but especially the defensive line.
Defensive line is the strength of this team, might be the key to the season. If they live up to the expectations, that could help this team get to a bowl game and help Alex Grinch be successful defensively, and because that'll make the secondary look good and linebacker core. I agree with you about the defensive line. I'm excited about that. Since that was your answer, I'll go in a different direction. Running backs. I don't really care who's behind. Miles Montgomery, it could be Nixon, could be Gage. I feel really good about those running backs being playmakers. I'm not gonna miss whoever the starter was last year. What's his name again, Trace? What was his name? The guy we had last year? What's he? Harvey?
How fast you forget?
What's he doing nowadays?
Current Denver Bronco. All right, Elo. When you look at the talent that has been assembled on offense, a lot of question marks, as you said, a lot of uncertainty. Who do you think is the best player that the Knights have going for them in the starting 11, whatever that may shake out to be?
I think offensively, it's Miles Montgomery. I think he would have had a bigger role offensively last year if he didn't get hurt. I think he'll have that role this year. I think Nixon is good. I like Gage. I even like Swint. Swint's hurt, so that's going to.
He's just going to name everybody.
I like the backfield. Can we just run? Maybe if we don't have a quarterback, we just put one of the running backs as the quarterback and just run a wishbone or something. I don't know. I do feel strongly that those are your best offensive players going into the season at this point. Defensively, woo! Coaches have told us that Kelly was the best defensive player in the spring from a defensive line standpoint. So you can make an argument, but I think a healthy John Walker, if he goes back to what he was 2 years ago, is your best defensive player.
So offensively, and you rattled off half the roster.
It's just a backfield.
I'm going with Jaden Nixon, and I think that something you didn't mention is he's going to be a part of the return game, and I think that may be an underrated unit for UCF special teams. You could make the argument that the struggles that existed a season ago, going through kickers and the struggle at punter and what have you, that there's nowhere to go but up there. But that could be good things for UCF, and we haven't seen a return in quite a while, right? So special teams could be special, and Jaden Nixon is going to be a part of that. Go back to Scott Frost, right? There were a lot of guys, Adrian Killens, Otis Anderson, a lot of guys got touches. So Jaden Nixon may be a touchdown vulture too. He may steal some of those goal line scores from Miles Montgomery. We'll see how it plays out over the course of the season, but I like Jaden Nixon. I like what he could bring the Knights in 2025. Defensively, you mentioned it. Nigel Kelly was at Big 12 Media Days in Texas. He's talking maybe, this could be a guy with double-digit sacks, and boy, that would be a good thing for UCF to have a guy that would be like that. So I think there is depth on that defensive line. John Walker, is he fully back? We're going to see what it's like when not against Jacksonville State, but let me see him against Kansas State. Let's see how he fares in hostile Big 12 environments if he's fully back. And this could be the unit that, maybe saves the Knights 2025 season, Elo, is the defense.
When was the last time we said that about a UCF team where we felt better about the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball? We probably got to go back maybe 2014, when, you lose Blake Bortles and those guys. That's the only thing I could think of. But, yeah, hopefully the answers on this question expand as the season plays out, especially at the quarterback. If the quarterback has to be one of those answers, would you not agree with that at some point for the season to hopefully
At some point. And maybe
to
we
be-
revisit this topic about who's best after the first couple of games. You know who's best? Adam Eaton. Time to bring
That's
him
true.
in for our silly game.
Can't dispute that, gentlemen. Brought to you by our good friends at Werner, Hoffman, Greg, and Garcia. Find them at wernerhoffman.com for all of your legal questions. Guys, every year we all freak out. The transfer portal, we're losing this guy, or losing that guy. What's happening? So it's time for my favorite game and your both least favorite game. Who he play for? I have a list of guys who have transferred out of UCF last year, and I want you to tell me where they're playing this year.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I'll give you the player, Elo. You get to lead off first and guess, and Trace, you go, and vice versa. So the first one, Elo. Where is offensive lineman Marcellus Marshall playing right now?
Ooh.
I'm going to go FSU.
All right. Trace Trylko, would you like to?
I don't remember. I don't remember where he is. I don't know.
You're both wrong. The correct answer is Minnesota. Marcellus
Oh,
Marshall is at Minnesota.
Big
Trace,
crowd,
this
big fan.
could be an easy one for you, Trace. Punter Mitch McCarthy. Where is he at right now?
let's stay in the Big Ten. He is at Indiana.
Elo, do you have a guess?
I was going to say Indiana.
You are both correct. Indiana is the correct answer. Elo, start with you. Wide receiver, Chauncey Magwood. Where did Chauncey Magwood go?
Chauncey Magwood.
Wow. That's a good
Are
one.
we sure he's on a roster? Do we know that? For
Yeah,
sure?
you're not fully right. He's guaranteed to be on a roster.
On a roster.
All right. I'm
Boy,
fascinated.
once
by
they
this.
leave here, jeez.
All right, I'll go
Miss
random
these
here.
guys. We can't lose these guys. We miss these guys.
I think one of us in this panel a year ago said this guy would be the sleeper too of the offense. Which
I don't think that was me.
No, it's not me either. I don't know, Western Kentucky.
All right, Trace.
Georgia Southern.
Purdue is the correct answer. Chauncey Magwood.
Purdue. Purdue.
Followed our
Wow,
friend
good luck.
Darren Hinshaw. This should be another easy one, Trace. Maybe hold on. I'll flip this around. Linebacker Andrew Harris. Trace. He transferred here.
Texas State.
Spring. Elo, do you have a guess?
I have completely forgotten about everybody on this roster.
I'll say Purdue.
Arkansas is the correct answer.
Arkansas.
Oh,
Elo.
the other UCF coordinator there.
I'll start with you, Elo. Wide receiver Xavier Townsend. Where's he playing?
Oh, I know that one.
Shoot.
I think I know that one.
I'm going to say
It's
Kentucky.
a 30-minute show, Elo. Come on.
All right. That's your answer, Trace.
Iowa State.
Iowa State is correct for Mr. Trace Trylko. Trace, quarterback of the future, Riley Trujillo. Where is Riley Trujillo
Holy
playing at right now? People were clamoring for him. Give him a shot last year, I heard. Where's he at?
Riley Trujillo. Texas State. I'm just going to keep answering Texas State.
You love Texas.
Eric Lopez. Where is Riley Trujillo?
Oh, I thought you were going to give me EJ Colson. That one I would have known.
Me too. FAU.
That's incorrect. He's at Delaware. Former defensive
Delaware.
lineman, Elo. Matthew Alexander. Defensive lineman Matthew Alexander.
We're
Where's he
terrible
at?
at this game, Elo. We're terrible at this game.
We had an off season. We took a break. We're not like these
We
other
did.
shows.
I
We're
had
not,
checked out on these
We
others.
miss these guys, though. They go in the portal. We all get upset. We should know where they go, right?
listen, we're not like these UCF shows that bail after football season ends. I'm gonna say South Florida.
All right, Trace.
Incarnate Word.
Georgia Tech is the correct answer.
Georgia Tech.
Trace Trylko, where is former starting center Caden Kittler right now?
Arkansas.
Eric Lopez.
Florida State.
Arkansas is correct. Trace Trylko. That is your third. I don't know if you can win this, Elo, but a last one for you. Former quarterback Traquan Fagans. Where is Traquan Fagans at?
Pittsburgh.
Trace.
Florida A&M.
That is incorrect. We'll see him in a week. He is at Jacksonville State.
Oh, storyline.
Jacksonville State.
Wow.
Props to you,
Wow.
Trace. You deserve that win.
I was hoping for a Colton Boomer for a free one there. Hey, Adam, you disappeared. Come back. Come back. It is our scheduled draft We're going to blow through this whole time. We're going to have to shuffle the rundown. Adam, you're in charge of this. The draft order. This is who you most think is going to win games on the. The UCF's going to win a game on their schedule. Who has first pick?
I did the random order, and you're not going to believe this. Actually, it's me with first pick. So it's snake draft. So me, second pick is Trace Trylko, third is Elo, and then Elo, Trace, and me in return. So with my first selection, give me North Carolina A&T.
No, was that North Carolina? I'm sorry. Was that
Tar Heels? The Tar Heels? You bet the Tar Heels?
A&T is my answer.
I will go with Jacksonville State.
Boy, you guys are real bold. Real bold.
You would have taken them if you were 1 or 2.
I will go. Oh, I'm going to go with the lock. You both you failed. We don't lose in space games, boys. Houston.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to go with Houston.
Back up, Elo.
We're going to go Houston, and I'm going to go Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State. I think Gundy has a terrible team. I think he's done after this year.
I'm going to go Kansas.
Wow. Against Lance Leipold.
All right, give me West Virginia, and then give me Cincinnati.
Road.
Sneaky
road
pick
game.
Cincinnati there, yeah.
Road game. I don't love it, Ace. North Carolina.
Wow, bulletin board material.
That's you, Elo.
Me?
Yeah.
Next 2 picks.
Is West Virginia still on the board?
No, he just took it.
I took West
all right.
Virginia.
So what do we wait, what do we see here?
A lot of road games.
Kansas State, Baylor, Texas Tech, BYU.
Good Lord. Ooh. I don't like. We have to pick one?
Yeah. If you want to
Lordy.
win in this game.
You know what? I'm going to go against Trace, his alma mater on this. We're going to beat the richest team roster in the conference, baby. We're picking down the Red Raiders. How about that?
Because by November 15th, if they're not in it,
right,
these guys got paid up front.
That's right.
Going to play November 15th. That's a sneaky good pick, Elo. But
They just lost their starting running back. I think they just lost their running back to an injury. I think.
Elo, one more.
Oh, I got one more. Really? Jeez. Jesus.
Oh boy, someone's still on vacation. Yeah,
I'm going to go with Baylor. We owe them. We owe a payback. We'll be down like 35-7, and we'll come back and win the game again up in Waco.
Boy, I don't like either of the last 2 at all.
Did you like these previous 2?
I would like their chances better against Texas Tech and Baylor. I don't think they have any chance of winning either of these games, but if they are 5-6 and need a bowl win, maybe they win in Provo. So BYU.
Whoa.
And I guess last pick for me, Kansas State.
Kansas State. That's tough.
Wow.
Tough. Thank you, Adam. Elo, we've blown through all sorts of time. Let's go rapid fire. Farmageddon, Elo. What do you think this weekend?
It's a joke. In Ireland, who the heck came up with that idea to play that game in Ireland? That's absurd.
What's worse, Elo, this is the longest continuous series in college football. They've been playing since 1917, and they're playing in Ireland. But that's not even the worst of this. The Big 12 scheduling matrix, this series ends in 2027. That's terrible. The bigger travesty, the way the scheduling matrix.
2 of the favorites for the conference, so somebody's going to be coming back in a long
It's not a knockout game, though, right?
No, but I do question whether the team that loses this game, if that's a long track to bounce back from that, but it's terrible. Go ahead.
Playoffs, Elo, Big 10 floating.
Speaking of embarrassment.
24-28.
Sure, let's just throw them all in there. Why don't we just throw them on there? Hey, by the way, I know everybody wants to rip on the SEC being the bad people in this. When is the Big 10 going to start getting criticized? Because this is their idea, their stupidity.
Is it their idea or is it TV's idea?
No, it's their idea. This is their idea.
TV's got a role in this, Elo.
I mean, maybe Fox, but Fox is also a dumb network, as we know by their content across the platform, as we know very well. So that either way, this is idiotic. 24-28.
It's heading this way, though, right? It's heading this way.
I think what they threw that number out because then what they'll do is they'll meet in the middle and settle, air quotes, on 16, which is just too many as it is. But that's what they're going to do in that nonsense.
How do the bowls continue to survive? The bowl cartel. How do they continue to keep their lock on positions?
Well, you got to play these playoff games. You got to play these playoff games somewhere. That's what they're going to tell you. And listen, the power conferences are going to run this. All right. So the Northern Illinois AD calls for poaching fees. Ha, buddy. Like, your days are numbered. I'm sorry. Do you agree with me on this? Like, stop.
Poaching fees is interesting, right? But Elo, the bigger point, aren't these players employees? Shouldn't there be collective bargaining? Shouldn't there be the forming of a union? When are they going to negotiate the salaries? All of this continues to spin. It's not clear about the pay structure, right? So is it really that outlandish to talk about transfer fees? Try explaining it in soccer.
But who's affording that, Trace? Who's going to afford that at some point? Like, I mean, it just is what it is. It's the ones that have all the alums, that have all the money. They're going to still spend. The difference is it'll be under the table versus over the table. And I just think we're headed for separation. And that's just the way it is. You're right. Soccer can relate to fees there a little bit.
Soccer. First sport back, Elo. Women's soccer off to a 2-0 start. They have a game on the Warren I-4 rivalry renewed against South Florida on Thursday. What's your outlook for women's soccer? Cautiously optimistic, or do you have another approach?
Cautiously optimistic. I think offensively they found an answer to without Chloe Netzel, who's an all Big 12 performer, in Liz Warden, who's a transfer out of Long Beach State. They have experience at goalkeeping. I still question them defensively. We'll see as the competition steps up with South Florida and then LSU following that. But I do think they'll win more than 3 matches. I know that's not nothing to write home about. But optimistic they can have a winning season. I just don't know how good if they can contend in the Big 12, which is coming off 7-bid league last year, the most they've had in a conference since 2003, and they have a lot of offensive firepower in that league.
What do they look like defensively, Elo, and do they have that depth in the Big 12? Quality league,
yeah.
Right? So
that's the big question.
There are questions. Prove it now, year 3, learning curve over for some of these sports as they move along in the Big 12.
The big Thursday night Suns live premiere and women's soccer. Holy mackerel. What a time.
And men's soccer. And men's soccer, Elo.
Which opens the season at North Carolina. They will play at Wake Forest over the weekend. They are picked 3rd in the Sun Belt. Trey Scott Calabrese, injured playing a year ago, missed a tournament. Do they bounce back?
I think they do, Elo. I think when we talk about transitioning to the Big 12, Sunbelt is a quality league. Of course, men's soccer not offered in the Big 12. They've already been playing at that high level. What's a post-Luca Dorado world look like for Scott Calabrese and crew? Scott Calabrese just extended for a couple more seasons, going to be a night. I like men's soccer's chances this fall.
I do too. They always find offense. It doesn't matter whether Cal Jennings graduates or him and Paul Souders, the associate head coach. They always find offense. To me, the question is though, can they defend good enough?
With the way they play offensively, can they get back on defense?
Well, and they just lose to graduation. Anderson Rose, who's arguably the best defender they've had in the Calabrese era. Something to watch to. This could be the last year of men's college soccer as we know it. A lot of speculation and reports out there. We're talking about the football maybe separating. There's a lot of talk that men's soccer might separate and that the U.S. soccer might take over men's college soccer over the NCAA and change this landscape of men's soccer big time, Trace.
That is interesting. Time to bring back in Adam. Adam, what did we get right? What did we get wrong? Educate us, please.
Here's what I can tell you. Scott Frost has a career 35-38 coaching record. Obviously, a lot of those came from his time at UCF. The last time, guys, UCF went back-to-back seasons without going to a bowl game. 2003, 2004, which is a trick question because the first bowl for UCF was in 2005. So they have not gone 2 straight years without a bowl game since 2004. You talk about longest rivalries. The longest rivalry, or the oldest rivalry in college football, Lafayette versus Lehigh. 160 games have been played, gentlemen, starting back in 1884. The longest, or the deepest rivalry from a Big 12 team, Kansas State have played 122 times, starting in 1902.
Thank you, Adam. One more thing before we go. Hey, Elo, how much do you think people would spend to sit next to us in the media room following a UCF football game? Going rate for post-game, Michigan at Oklahoma, a strange number, $692.11. OU says a ticket is good for a person and a guest. A creative way the Sooners are trying to raise some money. What do you think? We got to pay people to sit with us.
I mean, I got some information today. If I want to sit next to you at the Carolina game, I may have to dish out some money myself. So
this is true. This is true.
Deal. We'll see.
Catch up on Around the Kingdom at the Sons of UCF YouTube channel and wherever you get your downloadable audio content. For Eric Lopez and Adam Eaton, I'm Trace Trylko. Thanks, everyone, for rejoining us for another season of Around the Kingdom.